The next stage of the project, we're going to start to look at roofs. So to show you the different variations of the different roof types, what I'm going to do is just move across to one side, have a blank space, and I'm going to draw a couple of shapes using my wall tool. So I'm just copying the same shape across. I'll also draw an L-shaped building. So there we have this typical shape of a building. So go back to my ground floor plan. These walls are constrained from the ground floor up to the first floor. So when we draw the roof, it's going to attach to the first floor. So to draw our roof, we'll come to the build panel, and there's the roof tool. So I'll select it, and we get this warning box. This explains that you've created the roof on the lowest level. So you can see we're on our ground floor. So it's just warning us, do we really want to create it on the ground on the lowest level, or would you like to move the actual roof itself up? So if I hit the drop down arrow, you can see so there are our levels that we can choose from. So if I select first floor, press yes, we can still create the roof on the ground floor, but the roof itself will be attached to the first floor level. So now we're in the creation mode. You can see our contextual tab appears. Again, we must finalize our actions by the red X or green tick. Here we have our draw panel, as we had before. Again, in the options bar, a couple of options. So same like the floor slab, the best option here would be to use the pick walls. Again, the reason being is it will attach to the boundary of the walls. So having that selected, I'm going to zoom into the first building and just select each of the walls. Now I can't continue on selecting each one to create multiple roofs, again because they are two separate closed loops. So if I now try to finish, I get the warning message saying I can't. So you can only have one of the single closed loops within the roof boundaries. Just a small tip, best thing to do is to attach to your walls first, create the boundary, and don't do any further steps. Best thing to do is just green tick to finish, just to make sure that the actual footprint has attached correctly to the walls. Again, just saving you time. If you continue on for the next 5 to 10 minutes editing that roof, once we go to finish, if there are any issues with the boundary, we've just wasted our time. So you can see the roof has kind of disappeared. Again, it's because we're on our ground floor. So if I go to my 3D view, there we can see our roof. So I'll just open up my ground floor plan and have a 3D view so we can see. So now I'm going to place roofs on all of these buildings. I can do this on the ground floor, and again just getting that little warning message, or I can go to my first floor plan. But as you can see, I can't see the walls below. This is because of my underlay. So if we come to the underlay heading in the property section, we can change the range base lower to ground floor, and we'll be able to see the ground floor walls. So now I can select my roof, again using the pick walls, just selecting the walls, green tick to finish, same again, just pressing enter to come back into the roof tool. And there we have our roofs of the building. So now for the first one, I'm going to leave it as is, so I have a basis to work from. So I'm going to move over to the second building, and you can notice when I select it, you can see it becomes selected in the 3D view. Again, this is because we're working on one single model. So to edit the roof itself, I can either select it, go to the contextual tab and click on edit footprint, or we can double tap to go into the editor. So the footprint is represented again by this single closed loop, same like with the walls and floors. So if we wanted to edit them in any way, If we simply select one, we're given some information here. First being the top, that's our slope, and that is the slope of that side of the roof. We have our flipping arrows, which jumps between the boundaries. And here we have a temporary dimension where we can add an offset. So if I add in, say, 300, it will offset in 300. We can also move it out 300. So first one I'm going to do is I'm going to change the slope of this side to 60 degrees, and also the slope to the front by 60 degrees. Green tick to finish. Now you see now we have 60 degrees to the front and rear and 30 either side. So now I'm going to move over to the next roof. So with this one, I'm going to leave the rear and front of the roof as 30 degrees. What I'm going to do is create a gable end either side. How I do that, I'll select the line which I want to change. In my options bar here, I have defines slope. So having that turned on means that I'm able to define a slope. If I untick it, I'll do both sides. So now both sides will no longer have a slope. Green tick to finish. And there I've created a gable end. So now I'll move over to the next roof. So I can do all three. Define slope. So with roofs, as long as you have your boundary correct, it's a case of running around the footprint of the building, assigning the correct slope, or unticking define slope to create the roof shape. You'll see on the L shape as well, it will automatically create the hip and verge. So coming back to the first one, edit the footprint. So I'm going to add in an overhang, and to quickly select all of those four, I can either use the selection window, or again hover over one, tap the tab key, and then left click on the mouse. There, my options bar, I can add in an overhang. Green tick to finish. And we now have an overhang for the roof. So for the second building there, I'm going to convert this into a flat roof. And how I do that, again, I'll select each one of the slopes, select defines slope. So now none of the sides have a slope. Green tick to finish. And there we have our flat roof. Now we don't want our flat roof to extend all the way to the external face. So if I double tap to go back in, if I select one of the sides, if I use the flipping arrows, you'll see the footprint now flips onto the internal face of the external wall. Again, this is not something that we want. We want our roof to sit on the core boundary, which is the blockwork. So to add the core boundary into the footprint, we'll just highlight each one of the walls again. So again, hovering over one line, tapping the tab key, left click on the mouse. In the options bar here, we have extend into wall, i.e. the core. So if we tick that on, now when we select the line and hit the flipping arrows, it'll extend inside, sitting over the blockwork. You'll see more clearly here on the ground floor plan. So now the footprint of our flat roof extends right to the external face of that blockwork. Green tick to finish. So lastly, with the gabled end roof, we can see here that our walls no longer meet the underside of the roof. So instead of editing the footprint of that wall and trimming it to the underside of that roof, what we can do is we can select the wall. In the contextual tab there we have modify wall, and there we have attach top/base. So if I select that, once I select the tool, the next stage is to select the roof. So where you want that wall to extend up to, and it will automatically extend up. There you can see as well, we need to extend this up as well. So again, select the wall, attach top base, select the roof. And same with the other side. Select the wall, select attach top base, select the roof. And same with this side. And we can do for this roof as well. So again, our roofs are just simply components. If we select one of the roofs, we can go to our type selector, and we have a couple of default roofs. So for the pitched roof, we'll obviously use the two pitched. And there we have one flat roof that we can change to flat.